out of all the leftists running for the Democrats in the United States, I seem to like Tulsi Gabbard, and I also like Yang. I can't say that I really enjoy them. It's just that compared to the others, they're the most sane ones. You know, it's like going into a lunatic asylum and like which one do you like? And I'm like, oh, maybe Poison Ivy. That doesn't mean that I would really want that person to win the seat of one of the most powerful nations in the earth. But like those are the options. You know, what can you do? So I've been really disappointed when I saw this picture with Tulsi coming up. Apparently, she took a picture with Even Duke, the leader of Portland Antifa and Occupy ICE. Now, she hasn't explained it yet. You know, I'm not really into cancel culture that much. From my point of view, maybe it's just like her taking a picture with other veterans. It's interesting though, you know. Like the thing is, like, alright, maybe she likes this person, but at least like she's not into identity politics because she could just go upstage and go like, as a woman of color, what I think is blah blah blah. You should vote for me because I'm a woman. You know, she doesn't do that, which is why this picture is a little weird. I've been flying around in right wing circles, I guess trying to get people not to like her. Again, I don't like her on behalf of the fact that she's a leftist, but, well, as a human being, of course, that's a different question, but, like, her policies, you know, it's just that she happens not to be as crazy as the rest of them. But this is not why I made this video. Why I made this video is because of this. She is criticizing Trump's foreign policy regarding Syria, which, like, oh, very well, you know, like, not everyone has to agree. From my point of view, Trump did say that he's going to leave the Middle East in his campaign, and now he's leaving the Middle East. It is a little bit interesting because on one hand, you have the left going like, oh my God, America is in the Middle East, oh my imperialism, America is killing brown people. And now that Trump is leaving the Middle East, it's like, oh my God, how dare you leave the Middle East and let brown people kill each other? It's like, no, I get the argument. It's like, well, you know, you shouldn't leave suddenly. You should leave slowly. I don't think, like, if you leave with the speed of a rabid snail, it's still not going to, like the Middle East has been a problem before I was born. It's a problem now, and it's going to be a problem long after I'm dead. Like, you just cannot, you know. I mean, unless you have boots on the ground and rule with an iron fist, like Soviet Russia did, and even then, you know. So no, like, there's going to be issues in the Middle East constantly. Now, a lot of people don't understand. Turkey is a member of NATO. The situation there is a little bit delicate. Erdogan was complaining when the US wanted to give heavy weapons to the Kurds because then the Kurds are going to attack Turkey. I mean, it's like Game of Thrones, you know. I keep saying this, like, this is how the situation is in the Middle East. Just because someone isn't from House Lannister doesn't mean that he's not a bad guy. He can also be from House Bolton or something like that. But, you know, like, that's the different thing. Like, agree or disagree if this was the right move or not. Whatever. The thing that made me smile is that it's up to the Kurd Syria to either fight or surrender their territory to Turkey. No part of Syria belongs to the United States, so Trump does not have the right or power to give away a piece of Syria, Kurdish homeland, to Turkey. You can't give away what doesn't belong to you. Like, Tulsi, honey, poopsikins, did you read history books? You know, like, this is, correct me if I'm wrong. I genuinely think that in the United States, they do not teach European history. I think they start with World War I, maybe, where, you know, America got involved into European affairs. But, like, I don't think they know anything about history before World War I here in Europe. Throughout human history, like, since people came out with slings out of the caves, big powers, like world powers, like the United States and China and Russia, the USSR, They have constantly given the territory of smaller nations. I mean, Churchill and Stalin, for example, what do you think they got? You know, they went to a table, and I think it was on a napkin, where Churchill gave Romania to the USSR. I mean, it's just the way it works. You know, it's not something new. It's going to exist. So yeah, in international communities, who has the bigger guns decides what happens to the little nation. But you know, like that's actually my favorite one is this: U.S. Trump just gifted Turkey a large chunk of Syria. Would America be okay if Syria gave California to Mexico? She's getting roasted in the comment sections. I mean, you have people that want this, like, yes. How soon can we arrange this? As soon as possible, yes. Yes. California leadership have been gradually been doing this for 30 years, while Reconquista Latino activists has pushed along the way. The Golden State is doomed. Yes, yes, yep, yeah. Like, she should have made a poll. Like, people are so happy giving California to Mexico. It's not even funny. I think it was a bad move there, Tulsi. You shouldn't have tempted the chat with this. But again, like, yeah, sure, alright. Syria can give California to Mexico. The problem is that Mexico has to take it. You know, but basically what the US is saying when they're giving away part of Syrian territory to Turkey is, if you take it, we're not going to intervene. That's what it means by giving something that's not yours, right? Because the United States has no obligation to be in Mexico. Like, do you understand? Like, back when George Washington was a thing, I don't think like people were like, hey, George Washington, should we deploy our troops in the Middle East? The Ottoman Empire is up to no good. I think George Washington would be like, what the fuck is the Ottoman? Who cares about the Middle East? So that's pretty much the idea. So yeah, that's what it means when a big nation gives a territory. It basically means they're not going to intervene. Or when a big nation doesn't give territory, it means if you try to take this, we will deploy our military against you. Right? So that's pretty much the whole thing. I think Tulsi understands, but I also think that she knows her fan base that are leftists and whatnot, but you can't please them, right? Like, take my word for it. There's literally no way you can take away American troops out of that area and not have consequences. There's just no way. You know, America shouldn't have been there in the first place. And there's going to be conflict, but regardless, I think like there was even an incident when Turks opened fire on U.S. Military in the Middle East, and it was just a blimp in the news. Like you can Google it and find it. They attacked a U.S. military base because they went in too deep, and you know they probably patched things up. But no, like for the U.S. And by the way, this is not just Trump. Like it's U.S. generals advising him, because I generally don't think like he just came up one day and went like you know what I want to do. No, it's like probably U.S. He's got advisors and stuff. The situation is like this, all right? The United States is allied with the Kurds, and it's also allied with Turkey. Turkey is one of the largest militaries in NATO. And, you have that saying, like, keep your friends close and your enemies closer type of thing. So, yeah, US wants to have good relationships with Turkey. Now, if it comes to choosing between the Kurds and Turkey, like to me, this is what also doesn't make sense, like these weird alliances where, if you look at the Middle East, it's such a cluster clock. You got nations allied with each other that are also at war with each other. Like, for example, this, like the US is allied with the Kurds, the US is allied with the Turkey and the Kurds are hostile to each other. It's like, what the fuck? How does this make sense? I don't know the relationship between Saudi Arabia and Israel. That's also an interesting one, But yeah, it is what it is. Let me know what you think. And if you want to check the roast, feel free to go on the Twitter. It's amazing. And yeah, I mean, you're also going to find people like, Syria has very little amount of oil reserves. The problem isn't the amount of oil Syria has. The problem is that you can have a pipeline going through Syria, which allows the Russian to pump oil into Europe. And America doesn't want that. They want Saudi Arabia to have monopoly when it comes to the oil. So, uh, yeah, whatever. What do you guys think? I'm generally curious. You know, like I never talked about this on my chat. What do you guys make of this, huh? Again, like people voted for Trump to pull out of Syria, and now he's pulling up, and people are upset. Do you think he should have remained, or do you? And by the way, do you honestly think that there could have been a way to pull the troops out without having problems? Because you need to take into account that's a dangerous place in the world right now. You pull all the troops as fast as possible. You then risk less casualties. Because if you pull troops slowly, there's going to be a point where there are very few troops there, and they don't really have logistics to supply them. And if anything bad happens and you end up with casualties, then people are going to be like, "Oh, look at Trump! Oh, he's so incompetent. He doesn't know how to pull the troops back. Why did he thin the forces to the point where like that's also something that needs to be taken into account." So it's like, which do you consider to be more important, American troops or American allies? Maybe it's a difficult question. Who knows? I'm not an American, so I can't answer that. Do let me know what you think in the comment section.